like to request and invite fourth guest for today's conclave, Lieutenant General S.P. Goswami, sir.
Firstly, I must apologize for not speaking in Marathi. I am from Rajasthan. I was born in the fort of Chittorgarh. If any of you know the history of Chittorgarh, then you will understand. And I belong to Udaipur. I've studied in Chittorgarh in the Sainik School, like General Nimborkar in Satara Sainik School, and two of the alumni, rather including Ranjit, three of the other alumni of Sainik School Satara. So we have had a very straight-jacketed upbringing of Sainik School, NDA, IMA and the Army. So precisely 40 years of experience as a commissioned officer and 50 years of staying away from home before I shifted to Pune for last 1.5 years after my retirement. Ranjit has told me to speak on the issue of scholar warrior. This warrior side, General Nimborkar has brought out very eminently from his own personal experiences, so I will restrict myself on that part and I will talk of the scholar part a little more. Just to touch upon the warrior part, warrior as is always been thought of, that military is all bronze and no brains or little brains. So it was mainly physicality, mental toughness, and two very, very important parts, morality and ethics. So I will leave these four parts for now and I will shift to the scholar part. You will see the word soldier being used by anybody and everybody without even understanding what a soldier is all about. You will find political parties using the word soldier. You will find NGOs, social groups, anybody and everybody using the word soldier. And soldier has been prefixed with soldier saints, soldier administrators, soldier academicians, soldier instructors, and recently in Afghanistan, it was military contractors. So that is how loosely the word soldier has been used. Yes, a soldier has been called upon to perform any and every task that the country finds in its routine. We had the army running the trains in 1972-73, if I recall correctly, 72 it was, or 73, when there was a big strike led by George Fernandes and Datta Samant. We had army administering the northern part of Sri Lanka. The town commandant Jaffna was a brigadier, serving brigadier of the Indian Army. And in the history of conflict, it started in 1982-83 in Sri Lanka, right down to the time that we left, that is the IPKF left in 1990. The best peace and the best development that took place in the north of Sri Lanka was when it was administered by the army. So these are just two of the examples that I have talked of. But to develop the capabilities of taking on these varied roles, the soldiers have to come from a background, and that background relates to a good academic background, and as an officer in the Army, Navy or Air Force, it is the art and science of warfare that you are going to practice. The art of warfare comes from the leadership issues that General Nimborkar just brought out. And it is focused on an extrovert personality, interpersonal relationships, the kind of communication skills you possess, and kind of personal examples that you can set. And this is what is ingrained into young minds like yourselves right from the stage that you are in your families and you land up in schools. So today you are a part of Yoddhaa Institute where such qualities are to be ingrained in you. So that when it comes to a crisis, you are able to take charge as a leader. Have you seen traffic jams on the road? Has anybody taken on a leadership role ever? Or have waited on in the jams for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, because 4 people, they thought it right to just put their vehicles in such a manner that nobody moves? Have you seen crisis taking place in societies? There is a situation in 2012, I think it was 2012, when there was an instant flood that got created outside Katraj tunnel on the road which is leading towards Satara, and number of cars got washed out. That was a simple situation of nobody taking charge at an appropriate time in the society. So what is required is that these leadership skills should come up naturally into you. When it comes to a situation where you are in crisis and there are 2 choices with you, fight or flight, you don't adopt the flight option, you opt for the fight option. By fight, I don't mean getting into a physical battle with somebody. I am talking of taking charge. So this is where the art of warfare capabilities, or the art side of the warfare, or the art side that a personality development program should put into you. And that is why military has got such an elaborate system of services selection board spreading over 4 days, where you are put through a good psychology test. Therefore, it is very, very important that these qualities are inculcated right into the young minds, and therefore, in case a situation like that takes place, you are in a position to take charge, whether in army life or civilian life or wherever you are in your life. Second thing, the science of war. Today, we just heard an elaborate talk by Professor Godbole on the AI. It is the militaries who have been at the forefront of induction of technologies, which later came into the civilian life. The data transmission that we see today, which is part of a very, very routine existence of all of us, was being practiced in Indian Army as early as 1976. The communication technologies which are coming in now have been in practice with all of us since 1984-85, when we inducted the modern systems. So what I am trying to bring out is that a career in the armed forces requires a very, very strong scientific background. And today, with the unmanned systems coming all over, whether on ground or in air or in the water, the understanding of these systems and countering them is all a part of technology. But in this technological situation that the whole world is in, the man behind the machine is the most important, and that is what you will be in case you take charge or you get into the services. So a career in the army today epitomizes the concept of scholar warrior, which you all have joined in Yoddhaa to practice. I will be brief. I understand that I am at a critical time, and therefore I will call it a day. Thank you very much. Thanks to Colonel Ranjit and the esteemed panel which I have been asked to share and sit on the dais with. We have had a very, very good session, and I personally found it very enriching. And thanks to all of you for being patient listeners. Thank you once again.